Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be my top tips for getting started in your hybrid training journey, which I've only really been doing hybrid training properly for probably less than a year. So I've got lots and lots of tips with everything that I've learned along the way. So first off though, what is hybrid training? There isn't an exact definition, but it's essentially combining multiple different fitness elements. So in my case, it's running and the gym. But if you're a triathlete, you're doing running, swimming, cycling, and probably the gym as well. So it's just combining multiple different elements, basically. The benefits of that are obviously you achieve a much more well-rounded fitness profile. You're building muscle, you're getting stronger, you're getting fitter, you're getting faster. It's very kind of performance-based. And in addition to that, it's also just a lot more interesting. If you're mixing things up, you've got different training sessions, you're going to get bored, or you should get bored a lot less quickly than if you're doing the same thing day in, day out. And personally for me, I loved the gym for probably 2.5, 3 years. Like every single session I went in, felt great, was so motivated, but over time that has just started to dip. I think it is. I've just been doing it too long and I've been bored essentially. But when you're doing hybrid training, especially if you've signed up for a race or you just have a goal, a distance goal in mind, or a competition, you want to do a high rocks competition, say, when you have that specific goal in mind and that end point and that plan to get there, it just keeps you feeling a lot more motivated and you're able to hold yourself accountable. And a lot of these things are also really sociable as well. I think being a social media kind of content creator, all my stuff is, yeah, I share a lot with you guys, but it is very lonely. I'm at home on my own all day, every day. So doing these kind of like classes and events is a really social and fun way for me to get out and meet people. And that's why I love it. So yeah, let's start talking through the tips. Okay, first things first, you need to find the right training program for your specific goals. With the gym, generally speaking, everyone can kind of do the same program no matter what stage of your journey you're at. Whereas with hybrid training, you need to get a lot more specific. If you're training for your first 5K, you're going to be doing something completely different from someone training for their first half marathon. You need to find a program that is tailored to your specific goals. With the gym side of things, building muscle and strength, the exact same principles apply as just normal hypertrophy. You need to be training to failure or very close to failure, and you need progressive overload. So stick at the same exercises for 4 to 6 weeks, and your aim is to increase in your reps, increase in your weight week after week, and just push your body harder and harder, basically. This was a big issue for me, or concern for me, when I first started hybrid training. I was always used to doing 2 leg days a week, smashing like glute sessions in particular, but as soon as I started bringing running into the mix, I had to drop a leg day. And in my head, I thought, I'm going to lose my glutes. Like, I'm so used to doing 2 leg days a week. Like, I can't do this. But essentially, when you're doing running is kind of like a leg day. If you're doing 2 leg days a week heavy, and then you're throwing in a couple of runs a week as well, that is not giving your legs enough time to recover. And you're going to be overtraining, not recovering, and in essence, just not making progress in either direction. So for most people, you're going to have to drop down to 1 leg day a week. But it really is quality over quantity. And if you're pushing yourself hard in that session, you'll be just fine. So for example, I'm doing 1 leg day per week at the moment because I'm training for a marathon, and then I'm also doing lots of like high rocks and CrossFit and whatnot. I actually just got an all-time B stance hip thrust PB today because I'm really pushing myself hard in these sessions, because I know it's my only one a week and I'm really going to my max. So you don't have to be concerned there. My glutes also are just as big. I haven't lost any progress. So you guys will be glad to hear that. In terms of the running side of things, when I first started, I thought if I want to get faster, all I do is I go out and run a 5K or a 10K, and each time I go, I try and beat my previous time and run it faster and faster. But that is actually wrong. So the same way that you don't go into the gym and test your 1 rep max of your squat every single session, you don't want to do the same for your running. So there's kind of 3 main types of runs that a good program is going to include. Number 1 is an easy run, and you might have heard this floating around. It doesn't mean that whatever the distance is easy. It just means that you're taking it easy. The pace is easy. You're going slow and controlled. You should be able to have a conversation with someone. You should be at a 3 out of 10 intensity level, basically. And there's benefit to this. So when you run slower and your heart rate is lower, you're basically improving your aerobic fitness and you're training your body to be more efficient with your run. So like, i.e., you're just getting fitter. So if you've ever heard that run slow to run fast, that's what they're talking about. You have probably 1 or 2 runs a week that are slow, chill, you can chat to someone, nice and easy. Then you're going to have intervals, which is, yes, we want to get fitter, but we also want to get faster. So intervals will kind of be like run a kilometer, rest, or even run 500 meters and rest, and you're repeating. So it's stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, and you're going fast in these, and that is going to improve your speed. So these are really important for high rocks, for example, because high rocks essentially is a workout full of intervals. You're running for a kilometer, and then you're doing an exercise, and then you're going again. So intervals are speed, and then you've also got tempo runs, which are working on your speed as well. This could be like a 10K where you're starting slower and you're getting quicker, and it's kind of simulating a race environment. If you're doing a half marathon, you might take the first half pretty easy, and then as you get towards the end, you're going to ramp up the speed because you want to get the best time possible. And a good program is going to include all those 3 different types of runs. You want enough rest, but also pushing your body, and progressive overload with the gym and running. I'm going to flash up some example workout splits, which are actually from programs on my app, in case you need a bit of inspiration and you're not sure how to spread things out and how to give yourself enough rest. So I'll flash them up on the screen now. And those are all my tips for finding the right training program for you. Nutrition is then arguably as important as the training itself, and I think it's something that most people struggle with a lot, but it really doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Why is it important? Obviously, as I said, hybrid training is very performance focused. So 1, you need to be fueling your body properly and giving it the energy it needs to do these runs, these workouts, these strength sessions. And 2, also recovery. You need to give your body the nutrients it needs to recover, repair itself, and grow. In terms of the actual specifics of what you should be eating, you obviously want a good balance of all the macronutrients, which are protein, carbs, and fats. Protein is important for muscle growth, recovery, and repair. And then carbs are important for energy, especially before a workout. And then fats are also important for energy and also hormone production. So you want a balance of all 3. In terms of your meal makeup, you want to get most of your intake from whole foods, nutrient-dense whole foods. Try to stay away from like crisps and chocolate bars if you can. Obviously, you still want to incorporate that in your diet to reduce cravings, and it's food that tastes nice, you're allowed that, but try go for an 80-20 split. 80% good food, 20% junk food. The most important meals to be focusing on are going to be your pre and post-workout meals. Pre-workout, because as I said, you need to energize yourself, so the focus is carbs. I personally like to work out in the morning, so I'm not cooking myself a huge big meal. I'll go for something like bagels. I always have bagels or toast, or porridge oats, or sometimes just like fruit, something like that. And then post-workout, the goal is obviously protein, but also carbs as well, because say if you've gone on an hour-long run, you're going to get back and your blood sugar levels are going to be low, and if you're like me, you'll start to feel headachy and a bit faint and a bit sick, so you want to top up those glucose levels as well. So post-workout, I'll go for like a bulking shake, so I'll blend up protein powder, milk, oats, banana, maybe peanut butter as well, or I'll just have protein porridge, or maybe protein yogurt and granola, or scrambled eggs on toast, something like that. Intra-workout fueling as well is something that you can consider. If you're working out for over an hour, which is probably rare, but if you're doing those longer runs, then you definitely will be, then you might want to consider taking energy gels or sweets or some kind of fast-acting glucose that you can eat mid-workout. Is going to give you a really quick spike in energy levels, and it's just going to prevent you like mega crashing. So yeah, energy gels, sweets, dates, anything like that if you're doing a long run, or maybe even a long high rocks workout or something like that. Something else to bear in mind is hydration. Obviously, if you're doing a lot more running or a lot more workouts, you'll be sweating a lot more, you'll be breathing a lot more, so you're expelling a lot more water, and you're probably going to be more dehydrated. And this is something I didn't know until about 6 months ago, that electrolytes. So water alone isn't enough to hydrate you. You also need electrolytes to transport the water where it's needed in your body. So that's what electrolyte supplements are for. I obviously take my Humantra every single day and I love them, but there's also loads of other brands out there as well. So definitely consider taking electrolyte supplements if you're not already. And then on the topic of supplements, I do take supplements. I feel like they're a bit like demonized at the moment, or it kind of was a trend with ADW. I don't know if it's such a trend now, but I always have taken supplements and I always will. My top ones are 1, electrolytes, obviously. Then 2, I also take creatine and beta-alanine, which essentially just give your muscles more energy and endurance to work out, which in turn is going to lead to like strength increases in muscle mass, performance in your workouts, etc. So that's those 2. I also take protein powder, either in protein shakes or as just like a clear whey, or in my protein oats. So I do have these 2. Clear whey and normal protein powder I take a lot. Those are kind of like my main ones. I do take pre-workout sometimes, not all the time. I can't find it now, it's in my car. I take pre-workout sometimes. I'll eat protein bars sometimes, but again, they're not an everyday thing. That's all of my top supplements and also the end of the nutrition tips. All right, I've just finished a 9K progressive run on the treadmill, which is starting slower and getting faster. And why is running on the treadmill so freaking boring? Like, I try and avoid it as much as possible because it's just so dull, but it's so windy today. And because I was doing a progressive run and I had like target paces to try and meet, I just didn't want to be risking running into a headwind and finding it really hard or not being able to do it. So I thought, do it on the treadmill, but never again. I was so bored, even though it was only 9 kilometers. But as I finished that run, it kind of led me into the next topic, which is the third core pillar I'm going to say in your fitness journey, which is recovery. The most important thing I'm going to say is listen to your body. You know your body better than anyone, so you don't have to try stick to an exact workout plan, rep for rep, set for set to the exact minute. If you feel like your body needs more rest, take it. So for example, like sometimes you just have a session that completely out of the blue knocks you and you just feel really sore or really heavy legs or really lethargic, and sometimes you do need to take an extra rest day. For me, this would normally be if I've done a gym session and my muscles are sore the next day. I know that if I've done a really heavy leg day and I've got a run planned for the next day, if I wake up and my legs are just feeling kind of like sore and stiff, I will just give myself another rest day because there's no point doing that run if I can't do it to the best of my abilities. So yeah, you got to be flexible with your training. You know best, listen to your body, take rest when you need it. And then for other recovery tips, I'm actually gonna ask my Whoop to make sure that I don't miss anything to tell you guys, because they've got this really cool feature which is like an AI trainer chatbot type thing. So it's really cool basically. So I've asked it, what should I do to prioritize recovery as a hybrid athlete? And guys, I do follow all these tips, but just so I don't miss any and just so I can show you how cool this is, I thought I'd ask the Whoop. Number one is sleep. Sleep is super duper important. You should always get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night because it's crucial for muscle repair and overall recovery. So sleep is one, time, but also sleep quality. So things like you want darkness, so sleep with an eye mask or have like blackout blinds, and you want quiet, so maybe you need headphones, and then also just creating like a really calming sleep environment before you go to sleep. So don't be scrolling on social media, maybe read a book or just do some meditation or something. I don't know, I like to read my Kindle, which probably isn't that good for you because it's still light from the Kindle, but it definitely relaxes my mind a lot more than just like scrolling on TikTok, say. Oh, also circadian rhythm, so you want to try sleep and wake at the same time every single day because our bodies have like an internal clock and they just love regularity. So when you're going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day, your body just loves the routine and you'll be a lot less groggy and tired because of it. But I know that's not always easy to stick to, but try maintain roughly the same sleep wake times. Active recovery. Incorporate low intensity activities like walking, yoga or stretching on your rest days, which is a great point. So when you're doing active recovery and you're walking or stretching or yoga, you're increasing the blood flow to your muscles, which is actually going to speed up your recovery. So if you ever do have those days where you're super duper sore, try get out for a really low intensity walk or just do a bit of gentle stretching like that. It actually speeds up the recovery process. And after all your workouts, you should be stretching anyway. So you do dynamic movements as a warm up. So that's like moving legs, swings and stuff like that, and then static stretches after a workout, so for about 10-15 minutes. And I'm pretty bad at remembering to do this, to be honest, because once you've done your workout, like you're done, you're tired, you just want to get home, you know, no one wants to spend another 15 minutes stretching, but it is important. It's important for your mobility and flexibility and just reducing injuries and things like that, especially if you're a hybrid athlete. And I actually do have a link that you can use to get a free Whoop trial for 30 days, I think it is. They'll send you a band, and if you don't like it, you just send it back after that. The Whoop, I love it. It's been amazing for like optimizing my habits, I guess, and just optimizing recovery and all of that. And it's super interesting to look at all the stats. So I'll leave the link in the caption in case you guys want to go get your free trial. But that is everything discussed, the 3 core pillars of training or your hybrid training journey: training, nutrition, and recovery, which are all equally as important. You need all 3 in order to make progress. And I hope this video has been useful. Yeah, I'll see you guys for the next one.